This is Tuesday, February 16th, reading lesson. We have two objectives today. First, I can use my knowledge of prefixes and suffixes in order to spell words. Second, I can identify parts of a text, including the chapter, scene, or stanza. This is not going to be a typical Monday reading lesson, first of all, because we didn't have school on Monday, and since it's a short week, we're kind of combining a typical Monday reading lesson with Tuesday's regular lesson as well. So I did want to introduce our word sort words for the week. Our word sort words this week have prefixes and suffixes. More specifically, the prefixes re and un, and the suffixes full and less. We already know, based on our background knowledge and all of the iRead preparation we've been doing, that prefixes are added to the beginning of a base word and suffixes are added to the end of a base word. Both of these prefixes and suffixes completely change the meaning of the word. So for example, the prefix re means again. So if you rejoin something, then you are joining it again. The prefix un means not. So if you unfold something, that means that it's not folded. The suffix full means full of. So if you are helpful or you're being helpful, then that means you are full of help. And the suffix less means without. So if you are restless, then you are without rest. So I just want you to take a minute to think to yourselves if you remember any of these vocabulary terms: poem, stanza, and scene. It's been a while since we've discussed these terms. I believe it was Module 4 maybe. We're all the way in Module 8 now. But several modules ago in our reading book, several months ago, we did do a unit on plays and poetry. So we talked about scenes when we read these plays. If you think back to the saga of Pecos Bill, Gigi and the Wishing Ring, Two Bear Cubs, these were all plays, and we saw these different elements of drama within the plays. We had the stage directions, we had dialogue, we had the cast of characters listed, we had the setting, we had scripts, and we had a scene. But this week, instead of plays, we're going to focus on poetry. So these are some important words that we need to know and understand before we jump into reading certain poems. A line break is where each line of text ends in a poem. A stanza is what we call a group of lines within the poem. And some poems have rhythm and rhyme. This is a pattern of stressed syllables or rhyming words. Not all poetry have rhyme, which is fine. That's not a requirement, but it is something that you may notice when you come across a poem. So I'm going to read this poem, and then I'm going to identify how many stanzas it has and how many lines there are. I've done it. Guess what I've done? Invented a light that plugs into the sun. The sun is bright enough, the bulb is strong enough, but oh, there's only one thing wrong. The cord ain't long enough. So this says, how many stanzas are in the poem? Here, there's only 2 stanzas. I have a group of lines up here where my cursor is, and then I have a group of lines down here below. But how many lines are in the poem? There are 7 lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So the stanzas are grouped differently than the lines. It's important to recognize this when we come across a poem. So our exit ticket is very basic intro to poetry today, and I'll pull up a preview what that looks like. It has been a while since we've talked about plays and poetry, because like I said, Module 4 was all about plays and poetry, but that was quite a while ago. So number 1 on your independent work says to drag and drop the parts of the poem parts to the poem. So you can see there's 3 blanks here in this poem, and the vocabulary terms are down here below. We have the title, a line, a stanza, and a scene. There's only 3 boxes here, but there's 4 words down below, so that means one of these words you're not going to use. Number 2, there's a poem here as well titled Snow Day. And again, it asks you how many lines there are and how many stanzas there are. So you just input a number into the box. That's it for your exit ticket today. Like I said, just very basic intro to poetry today. But we will continue this poetry study the remainder of the week when we are back in person. If you have any questions, please let me know and I will be able to assist you.